Hey guys, Joshy here, BJ and GameDay, back for another episode. Obviously, received some pretty ordinary news today that the season has been suspended. So we just thought we'd go live once more, do a quick show. We had planned this for tomorrow night in the hope that round three would still go ahead and the rest of the NRL season. But unfortunately, we have had that suspension come through tonight. It was broken earlier this afternoon at about sort of 5:30, 6 o'clock. So, guys, very disappointing for obviously super coaches, for us and this channel that we've sort of created to this point. We had some great momentum with the start of the season, ran through a whole bunch of videos, and really got some new people on board with the BJ and GameDay pages, and plenty of people who've been there for a few years so far. So, disappointing for us. But, guys, we've just sort of got to hold hope in that they will make it back. Worst case scenario is basically the NRL folds due to financial issues. So, look, we'll just have to sort of wait and see with that one. From a Supercoach point of view, look, not really too sure what to talk about, what to expect. We've obviously been through one preseason. We can do it again over the next sort of 6 or 8 weeks while we wait for the NRL to come back. I've really got nothing. Bogan, are you on the mic, mate?
Yeah, I am now, mate. It's very disappointing. It was a bit lost for words. I was quite angry this afternoon at what. I'm still fucking angry. Todd Greenberg and fucking Volandis and the ARL Commission, they should be joining those lines in Centrelink. The fact of the matter is that we have an event like this occur, and they're talking about it could potentially fold the NRL, shows that there's fucking misadministration of the game in the extreme. And
Yeah.
I don't believe them. And I'm going to throw a fucking handout to the rivals in the Southern Code as well, the AFL, because there's been a bit of talk about them being in fucking trouble as well. Don't listen to these cunts. Like, the only thing that's going to fold is their shitty administrations. You can't kill the game. If the NRL fucking disappears, well, we're going to go out and we're going to watch the game fucking being played at the park. We'll fucking watch the juniors. We'll watch any fucking footy because we love fucking footy. And I'm sure that the fucking AFL fans are the same. So don't listen to these fucking suits who have squandered billions of fucking dollars and put none of it away because they're just fucking corrupt cunts. Like, the game will live on. So don't you fucking worry about that.
Well, folks at home, there you go. Look, obviously, we spoke about some new segments coming up in 2020, and there was the initial recording of Bogan's rant. So I guess that just gives you some insight into what you would have got, the fantastic content you would have got weeks in, weeks out, heading through the season, mate. But
Mate,
uh,
here's and Supercoach. Let's bring it back to Supercoach too. Oh, Supercoach on Twitter. Oh, we don't know what we're gonna do. Will be something over the next couple of days. Cunts, like, this has been going on since before the start of the season. You had no fucking contingency plan whatsoever fucking ever on what you were gonna do if this was gonna occur. Like, we were talking about it fucking off air. Like, fuck, what are they gonna
yeah,
do if they have to cancel the season with Supercoach? And they don't have fucking something prepared to run with, or at least to fucking say.
yeah, yeah. I'm sure they do, mate. I'm sure they've got some kind of plan in the background, and you know, you got to think that whether you were gone for 4 weeks or 6 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever it may be, they would have had different plans. Why they can't announce that, I'm not too sure. But yeah, mate, I definitely share your frustration, and misadministration of the game, I think, is something we can definitely look at. I think Phil Gould actually came out, last week saying that communications between the NRL and the clubs years and years ago, we're sort of going back about 8 or 9 years now, was year in, year out, there was supposed to be a surplus put away of $50 million per year from these broadcast rights and things like that. And that would have put us in the situation, I think it was about $450 million. So it would have been 9 years ago that the expectation was there to be had. And they're talking about that they can last 12 weeks or maybe 12 weeks, 6 months or something like that before the game has to fold. So, if the game can't get by on 450 million, which is supposed to be there over the next 6 months, then there's definitely something wrong. So obviously there's a lot less money there than was planned. And these guys have to be accountable for that.
Yeah, and some of the bullshit excuses that are fucking coming out, like, oh, the clubs are always asking for money. And it's like, yeah, but you're the administration. Like, if you had $1 trillion, the clubs are going to fucking ask you for $1 trillion. Like, it's your job to say no and balance the fucking budget.
Yeah.
So
yeah, mate, it's a tough one. It looks like AFL's probably in a little bit of a better position. Financially, they're not as bad off as the NRL. Assets wise, they've got a few things up their sleeve, whereas the NRL really doesn't, which is again one of the disappointing parts. So,
can I say it once again? Because of fucking useless fucking projects like the Gold Coast Titans. The fact of the matter is that the fucking NRL have been propping those cunts up ever since they came into the competition. So I think if there's any financial fucking difficulties, the first thing they should do is fuck those cunts off.
Well, I think probably what they're speaking about is, teams out there take a financial hit out of this, and there's a little bit of talk about a 10-team comp next year or something like this, because the expectation is that if this goes any longer than 6 or 8 weeks, that there will be clubs that fold. Cronulla Sharks is one that I follow, so. If that's the case, I'll be finding a new team to support.
And obviously, to continue being the fucking sourpuss on the show tonight, the government expectation is 6 to 18 months.
Yeah.
And they can't fucking win a trick at the moment, the fucking government, so it's probably going to be 24.
Yeah. And look, obviously beyond all this stuff, mate, it's just life in general. Everyone's a little bit,
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's unexpected.
Well, that's the thing. You say that it's unexpected, but it wasn't. And I think that's what's irritating me as well. Because we were talking about this shit a couple of weeks before the season even started.
So what do you think the alternative was?
What I would have done is what the NRL were trying to do at the last minute was move all the fucking teams to a country town and basically play 6 weeks of Magic Rounds. So you have them isolated.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I'm just...
And they were going to try and do that the last minute, but some town in Queensland they were going to do it in. But then Queensland shut the borders and it fucked them up. And it's like, well, if you had to fucking plan this contingency a couple of fucking weeks ago...
I think it's a little bit hard, obviously, to expect the players to have that. Look, I mean, I know these guys get paid a lot of money, but at the end of the day, they've got their families and they've got their, towns that they live in. And I mean, the Warriors have come over here and they've done their best for a couple of weeks, so now those lads can at least head home and see their families and such.
And that's going to be a legal nightmare in itself. Is player pay.
There's
already been several players come out and say, hey, I signed a fucking contract. Give me my fucking money. Which, and this is from an individualistic perspective, that's a fair call to make.
Yeah. As
But
soon as the NRL miss a game or miss a televised game, they're in breach of contract with the broadcasters. So it's a little bit hard to see what will happen from here on out. But
yeah,
if those broadcast deals go under, then the money goes under. So you can't expect the broadcasters with no product to obviously pass on to the public and the viewers, to continue any kind of monetary, payments towards the NRL. So, look, a lot of questions to be answered,
fuck, I don't,
and
I don't
this is
even know.
where,
I don't even know if we're
uh,
streaming at the fucking moment. Hold on.
but
Yeah, fuck.
this is the
From an
thing.
individualistic perspective, yeah. Hold on, just let me. Hey, Chad, are we on or
Who the hell's Chad?
chat?
Oh, chat.
Oh, Brent Hampton is in the fucking chat. Why the fuck isn't he in the call?
Because he probably doesn't want to. He doesn't want to rant about this. Trust me, mate. We ranted enough about it on Facebook today.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with the stream. I think we're frozen up. Hold on. Looks like we're back.
We're back.
I think.
Look, mate. Let's leave that part aside. Let's talk about Supercoach for a second, then. Um, round two. It's a little bit hard to talk about Supercoach when you got all this stuff on your mind because you're just not too sure where it's going to. It's a little bit, pointless even talking about it. But let's work off the positives that we'll be back in 6 weeks. Let's work off another 6 week pre-season. It's the start of February, and we're working towards March 15, which this time will be May the 1st or somewhere around there. So, guys, obviously, week two, a lot of bigger scores out there. We saw plenty of people sort of score over that 1,200 mark, a few over 1,300. I think the leader of the comp at the moment, 24.78, so averaging 1,240 odd per round, which is huge. For me personally, I scored 1,179, I think, so just short of that 1,200. It was a nice bounce up. Jumped up from 22,000 odd up into the top 10,000, so up to about 9,000 already. And again, for me, huge this time of the season. So really happy with that. Really happy with my team. Everything sort of worked pretty well last week. A couple of disappointing things where I don't have Nathan Cleary. Luke Keary bombed a try. Could have made that a little bit better. But yeah, overall pretty happy. I think Brent scored about the 1,120 mark, 1,130 mark. So he went pretty solid again. No doubt he'll be in about that top 15,000. So big week for the Ginge over there in New Zealand. So well done to him, big Ginge. Dan, I think he scored about 1,260. So he jumped to the top of the Bijan GameDay Invitational. Well done, buddy. Huge week. I think he had Katoni Staggs and a couple of others. So unfortunately, with the start of the season and Jermaine Asako taking Jack Bird's spot, I did switch out Staggs for Asako, which hasn't been a bad play at all. I think Asako's played quite well 2 games so far, mid-60s and then mid-80s score. So with the Titans up this week, I'm sure he can score even better again. A lot of people talking about trades in this week and things like that. Obviously, there's no need for it now, but when the time comes next round, after next round, whenever it may be, we will see the scoring change. The pricing changes. So a lot of guys with very very low break evens. Guys like your Emre Gulas still, Elisa Katoa from the Warriors. Look, I watched him on the weekend. Didn't really look anything special, but he's just sort of got, solid game across the park. So in attack, he's sort of solid. Defense-wise, he makes a lot of tackles. He played big minutes. I have to say, after 18 minutes, he looked like he played 80. So I wasn't too confident about him. I did get him in over the weekend. I subbed out Jack Williams. So that was a little bit of a fortuitous one because Jack had an absolute shocker for Cronulla. And the other trade I also made was Jesse Ramian to David Nolfaluma. Now, again, we talked about Ramian and his potential, but watching that Sharks game on Saturday night against Melbourne, SJ threw probably 3 or 4 bad balls that way that Ramian missed altogether. So definitely some work there for the Sharkies combination on that right-hand side between SJ and Ramian. So I may just see myself leaving Ramian out for now, see how the Sharks develop over the next sort of 4 weeks of the comp once it starts back up again. Hopefully now that we've seen the first 2 weeks, they can actually take this time off to work on those combinations because it looked like SJ was definitely trying to get Ramian onto the ball a little bit deeper, and Ramian was just overrunning everything. Other big news from Supercoach on the weekend, I guess, Mitchell Moses bounced back. 108 points he scored. The Eels had an absolutely huge win to finish out the round over the Titans. Very much expected that one. But I do think the Eels were basically in third gear the whole way. 14-6 at halftime. It probably wasn't until the Titans, folded in the back half of that game due to injuries. They had, I think, HIA. They had Dale Copley out with the ribs. Kevin Proctor got ruled out before the game, so that was a bit of a trouble for them. So, yeah, look, the Titans acquitted themselves well. No doubt Justin Holbrook, he's got a lot to learn, and hopefully him as well, so he can take this sort of next 6, maybe even more weeks to develop the Gold Coast Titans and make them that little bit better. But the Eels were huge, but can definitely get better. So a lot of upside there. Ferguson and Sevo, for me, I had on the wings play quite well, but didn't really get the points. Sevo managed to cross for a try, whereas Fergo was just huge in base. Runs from fullback and the wing every second, run off the kickoff he'd take. So 48 points in pure base, which was really good. Madison was huge again. A few other players a little bit weak in Nathan Brown and such. Wonga Blake, Clint Gutherson had a bit of a quiet one, but with Reid Marnie fracturing his foot, he did have to play in that dummy half role. I'm just trying to think anything else from the weekend. Luciano Leilua was big. He had quite a good game. Nathan Cleary looks absolutely awesome. He's probably put on about 5 or 6 kilos of muscle in the off season, and it's really, really worrying me not to have him. So I've currently got 244K in the bank. What I am thinking about is maybe downgrading a centre winger. At the moment in the centre wingers, I've got Nofo, Sevo, I've got Fergo, Asako, and I've got Isaiah Yeo. Now, I was actually looking, I've got Willie Army there, and I've got a non-playing reserve from Cronulla in Royce Hunt, but I've got Willie Army there. I thought I'd use maybe the 244 to upgrade the Stags, but I also may downgrade one of those guys and upgrade in the halves somewhere to get Cleary in. He just looks really, really good, Cleary. And the Panthers look like they're going to go all right as well. What else did we have from Supercoach? The Dogs went pretty average again. Newcastle, probably somewhat not so much Supercoach related. Mitchell Pearce had a good game, one of his few that'll have coach relevant. Kalen Ponga continued his good work. What's that, mate? Cool. Kalen Ponga had a good game again, but he will be out for a week or two when the footy returns purely from suspension. So he's been done for a shoulder charge, but he looked quite good. The forward pack for the Knights was awesome, so I'm not too sure the scores. I know Davey Clemmer scored quite well again, but the whole forward pack for the Knights looked absolutely massive. It was men playing against boys. But guys, yeah, just to look at a few Supercoach things, I've got to be honest, since lockout and since the closing of the league, of the season, I really haven't had a look at the BJ and Game Day leagues too closely. So I do apologise. I'd have to have a look at the other leagues that are up there. But yeah, I just sort of mainly concentrated on that invitational one. until that suspension one came out. So, big ups to the Ginge, big ups to Big Ted. I think he might be back in front after updates. I think Ginge had him over the weekend, but Big Ted got back to the front after the updates today. So, guys, moving forward, look, we're not too sure what we're going to do with BJ on game day. We'll always be here in some capacity, whether it's to talk about stuff. Obviously, Bogan's put in a massive amount of effort behind the scenes, guys. It's been absolutely huge, the content. You go to look at things like this now. We're on live stream. We're on SoundCloud now. So, guys, we really do listen to you guys at home. And, we do want to keep this going, but obviously we need the game to do it. So, fingers crossed, guys, we see you back in the next 6 or 8 weeks.
I'll tell you what. I'll give you this. If I get told to stay home from work and I don't have to work from home, I will do a daily stream called The Pub, because all the pubs are closed. And everyone can show up to the pub.
Yeah, but what's it going to be, mate? What are you going to do in the pub?
I don't know. Me drinking and ranting about shit that's pissing me off, probably about being stuck in the house.
Mate, how are you going to protect your anonymity, mate? What are you going to do?
Oh, who fucking knows? Yeah.
Come on, mate. We can get you on the screen one day, I reckon.
If we get enough subscribers that I don't have to fucking work anymore. But yeah. How'd you go with the fortune teller, Josh? You mentioned that Mitch Moses turned up, so wasn't that 1 point for Brent?
It is, mate. But happily, Brent, I reckon he took a little bit of pity on me over the weekend, mate. And with the stitch up that was Bogan's bunker last week, with the stitch up that was that, I actually managed to get my 13 up against Brent's 13.
Oh, really?
So, well, look, it actually became 12 for me because Kevin Proctor was one of my players and he didn't even play. So, mate, I still managed to beat Brent by about 60 points with 12 players. I think I actually looked at that today because I thought if I had to come on camera tomorrow night and do whatever I had to do with the Vegemite again and that, I wanted to have a look.
I think it was just had to scull fucking bourbon and Coke, which you generally don't have a fucking problem with. Like
look,
you tend to have about 50 of them as we usually record anyway.
Mate, I can drink them, but, it's like a bottle of Coke. It's hard to scull that shit. So,
yeah, it's too fucking physical.
Yeah, but, mate, fortunately, it was 1-1 in the crystal ball, so we will have to carry that on to the next week whenever that does happen again. And I don't think Brent will take it so easy on me this time. I reckon he gave me a couple of token choices there out of those lots because there was a few that I had to question. But mate, that's about it.
Mate, that's fucking. And if this is the last fucking episode of the season, it'll be a fucking shame. But thanks for everyone to subscribing, and thanks for everyone for being enthusiastic and joining the group and shit like that. It's just a fucking real heartbreaker this season. And even if they do get the season up and going again, it's always going to have that asterisk up against it as being the shortened season. So,
mate, look, people came out last year. People were like, 2019 was so hard. Fucking 2019 was this and that. And 2020 rocked up and said, hold my corona, it just...
fucking hell, fucking hell, yeah. It's been pretty fucking bad so far, but it'd be nice to say that I can see things getting better, but it's not looking that fucking way at the moment. But
guys, look, I'll continue to post on Facebook. Anyone who is still watching,
and definitely if we have any big news pop up, we'll probably jump on stream and talk about it. So,
look, anyone who wants to sort of talk about players, I'm still getting plenty of messages every day from a lot of people and that about the teams and that. So plenty of guys messaged me this afternoon. Guys, keep the messages coming in. I'll always talk about Supercoach. Right now, with how it is, there's no other sport on TV either, so I've got no idea what I'm going to do. They've locked me out of pool and pubs and stuff, so it's going to be a very, very boring 6 weeks coming up for me. If they lock me out of work, well then It's a month at home with the kids and the missus, and that'll be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, well, yeah. For now, I still got to go to work, so. But as I said, if I get locked out, look out for that BJ on Game Days afternoon pub, I guess. 'Cause it
Beautiful.
doesn't look like the bottle shops are going to close, so you'd be laughing
No, mate,
if you ran one of those.
they can't stop us from getting alcohol. Absolutely. So I'll
It's
be
one of
I'll
those. It's one
be
of those
visiting
things.
there
It's
tomorrow.
like you fucking close the pubs, you cancel the footy, can't go to the movies, can't do jack shit, but you've somehow found a way that I still have to go to work. So
Yeah,
fuck you cunts. And to be fair, I'm joking to all the people that employment is affected. That's fucking horrible, and I hope you're able to get back on your feet. Um, but still, fuck, talk about a miserable life. At least I'm a gamer, mate. I'll never run out of video games.
mate. Yeah, I'm
Uh,
I'm
it's time to catch
I've
up
got
on
nothing.
the fucking pile of shame.
I don't own a PlayStation. I don't own an Xbox. My laptop's sitting on the ground down there, cut in half, and I've got nothing. Albeit very familiar with Stan and Netflix and probably Pornhub.
Porn
So
up, yeah.
there you go.
All right,
All right,
mate.
guys, that's it.
Uh,
Let's wrap it up.
yeah, and hit the bell for if we do decide to fucking do something, it'll pop up in your notifications. But
Yeah,
nothing planned at the
definitely.
moment. So
All right, pal, we're out.
I'll just end that. Have a good one, people.